Hi everyone, welcome to the Faces of LXSE podcast. My name is Terry, and today we have another outstanding LXSE student, Effie, who is actually graduating today. It's the C15 graduation. Yeah. So, how did I know Effie? One of the mentors in the SE program just sent me a text on Slack and was like, wow, there's this mind-blowing student you need to feature in one of the things you do as Faces of ALX SE. She is a face of ALX SE, guys. Yeah. So today we have Effie Njoki, who is going to be our highlight student for the portfolio project highlights. So if you've been watching this series, this is another outstanding student who has given a stellar project that has impressed her mentors and is probably bound to impress the world ahead of us. Effie, nice to have you. And I guess I will now let the world know you for who you are. My name is Terry Nafula Angela, and I'm your Faces of ALX SE host. I will pass the floor on to Effie. Effie, tell us about you.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Effie Njoki. I was surprised to be among the students with an outstanding project, but I can tell my story. So, since a child, I have been an artist. I used to draw all the time. I used to love everything to do with art. Yeah, so my first career was graphic design and animation because that it was in line with art, but now digitally. So yeah, I studied graphic design and animation in campus, and then I started working immediately after campus. I was working as a graphic designer and animator. So I did that job for a year. So as I was working there, I used to love doing animations. You know, you draw, make them move, all those things. And the process is really, really like slow because you animate every frame, every second, and it's a lot of work. So I started finding ways to like animate this, to automate this process. So I stumbled into some scripts where you could write some scripts to make these movements. So back then I didn't know, like, I kind of knew it was code, but I didn't exactly knew what it was. But I knew I could write those scripts and it could make my work faster. So instead of animating every frame, I could write scripts that would do this automatically. So I could animate faster, could make random movements. It was like so fun. And I really got curious, like, what is this code? Like, why is it so easy to use? Why is it making my work so easy? So I started Googling about code, like what is this, what it can do, what it has done. So when I was at work, I used to spend most of my lunch hours Googling about code all the time. And it was so interesting. And I got really, really carried away. And then I stumbled now into ALX. Probably because of the many, many searches I did on code. So I enrolled immediately. I didn't even like know what it was really. I just enrolled and I was like, let me just learn this code because I really like it. So yeah, so that was in 2022, around at the end of the year of 2022. So now it was 2023 and I was in ALX. The onboarding was great. And then came C, which was really hard. It was like so hard. This was not the script I was used to writing about jumping and bouncing movement. It was so hard, but we had this peer group that we used to study together. So we used to meet every night at 9 p.m. and study the project, do the tasks together, and yeah, so everybody could study, and then we meet at night and discuss what we've studied and we handle the tasks together.
I'm curious.
So that made it a little bit easy. Yeah.
Made it a bit easier. I'm curious, how did you balance this with your work, with your job as a graphic designer? Did you have to pause that? Or like, yes, just tell us.
Okay, so yeah, when I began, I was working and at the same time I was doing ALX, which was extremely hard. I never slept because I didn't know anything to do with code. So I spent even more than 10 hours. You know, we do 10 hours a day on ALX. So
Yeah.
sometimes I spent 10 hours. I used to use my lunch breaks to do ALX tasks. And
Wow.
then immediately work, I used to do ALX. I remember there's a time I left work at 11 p.m. at night. Like my boss calling me, and I was like, she's seeing me in the office, and I'm sure she wants to tell me to go home. Because I was so stuck in.
You're so focused.
Come April, by April, I was like, you know what? I can do these two at the same time. So I had to drop one, and I quit my job. Yeah. So that I quit my job and did ALX full time. I've been doing it.
So that gave you chance to be like really good at it and to focus all your energies there.
Yeah. So I spent all my hours on ALX. So when I met my peers at night, at least I had something like to say, you know, because I was full time. Yeah. So
that was a nice sacrifice you made that I'm sure is worthy of it, because after quitting your job, you clearly said, I'm not here to waste time. I'm here to prosper. And that's what you're doing. So please go on, tell us your story. I just wanted to understand how you balanced it all out.
So it was really hard.
Yeah.
So I quit the job and joined ALX full time. I didn't want to drop out because I had had so many stories of people dropping out. So I thought, let me take this one shot and not miss it. I can always get a job. I can always do freelance jobs, graphic design and animation jobs are all over, especially freelance wise. I could do that. So I decided, let me do this code. I want to code. I already loved it. So I wanted to keep it. So I quit my job and joined ALX full time.
Okay.
So soon we started Python. That was Sprint 2, which was really awesome. Python was easy, especially from C to Python. Python was like,
quite
I don't know, like my savior.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And then it came Sprint 3. We did the DevOps, servers, everything. And then, that's end of last year. And then came specialization now. So I had to decide, should I do front end or should I do back end?
Yeah.
So when I joined ALX, I wanted to do back end. Like I thought it would be the hardest thing for me. So I wanted to do the hard thing and do back end.
I'm curious.
If
I might ask, what makes you so drawn to doing difficult things? You sort of have this way of tackling problems head on. You don't run from them. Where did you learn this?
I think I learned it partly in ALX and partly from before, because I don't know, I always wanted to be the best in what I do. Even back in school in campus, I was the top student.
Wow.
So I've always wanted to be really good at what I'm doing and at least try to be the best.
Yeah. I can see
among the best, if not among the best.
I see that because that's brave. A lot of people give up or they feel stuck, and you're the kind who's like, no, I actually want to do what no one else wants to do. Let me go for it. And that's powerful. That's very powerful. Yeah, please go on.
Something else that actually motivated me in this industry is during one of my many Googles, I saw that there's really few women in this, and I wanted to be among the few. I always want to stand out. So I wanted to increase the number. Since we're already few, why not like add a few more and bump up the numbers a little bit? So that's my motivation to do this.
That's really wonderful. You're really representing the rest of us out there. Yeah, women, we do hard things. Effie is a standard for us. Yeah.
Yes.
Please go on.
Okay, so where was I? Oh, my specialization. So I had to decide either front end or back end, right? But as an artist and how I had interacted with my peers, they had known I can do front end way better. Also, you can check out my UIs on Twitter. They're really nice.
We shall.
Yeah, so they were like, why don't you do front end? You would be really good at this from graphic design background. You would make like really good front end. Yeah, so deep down I was like, I wanted back end, but I had this thing that I wanted to like finish the program as star, so what would bring me closer to this? And I was like, maybe front end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't sure, but since most of my peers were like, do front end, it is good for you, you're already good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did front end. Then 2 months into it, I was like, no, this is not what I wanted.
Why? Was it
Like,
too easy?
well, it wasn't too easy. Of course, it's not too easy because there's a lot of frameworks to learn, there's a lot of new things to learn.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm doing graphic design and I'm just doing it in code. So it's not like so hard. What is the thing is that
Yeah.
I'm aligning UIs, I'm aligning divs. You know, that's almost like graphic design, only that I'm doing it in code.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, this is not what I want. This is not the kind of problems I want to solve.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that was crazy about AI. I was like, how am I gonna switch from AI from front end to AI? I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it wasn't hard for me. That's not what I wanted when I joined the program.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it so much. So I did it until the end. So around that time where people are presenting their projects, I was like, I'm gonna get a certificate, and that certificate gonna be fronted. I don't like that. I didn't want that from the word go.
Yeah.
So I was like, how about what if I deferred? So I was looking for like a reverse button or a way I could go back and start over and do front and do back end, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would, when I was clicking the defer button, I had decided I will go back as far as I could to get to backend. So I was ready. Even if they threw me back 6 months, I would have taken it.
Yeah.
So when I clicked the defer button, I saw the next cohort. The first option I was given was cohort 15, and they were starting their specialization.
Yeah.
So it prompted front end or back end, and I was so excited. Like, this is what I want. I am going for this.
A chance to start
I
over.
immediately, yeah, a chance to start over, and I haven't been thrown like way back.
Yeah.
It's really just 3 months. The whole 3 months, I'm going to be learning backend, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I clicked it very fast, and I got through back 3 months to start over the specialization.
Yeah.
And so I began backend. And I watched all my C12 peers graduate, which was really hard.
Oh, that must have hurt.
Yeah, we studied with these guys every day for I think 9 months or 10 months or something.
Yeah.
So, but I had to do it, right?
Yeah,
But
it's a worthy sacrifice.
Yeah, the certificate would be mine, not as a group, you know. So I went back. Now I did backend, and yeah, so we got to the project now. Yes.
All right. And Gash just told us the story up to when she now does have very outstanding portfolio project. But Effie, this is actually very enlightening. I can tell from everything you've shared with us today that like you're able to still see yourself as an individual even when you're in a group of people. You're able to still, you have your vision clear, you always have your aim clear, and I do think that's what actually makes anyone stand out in anything they make up their mind to do. Why are you doing what you're doing? What did you go there for? And how do you constantly remind yourself these things? Haven't you ever felt like maybe you don't really have it all figured out? You sort of have this focus of, I know what I want. And I think it's the beauty of calling yourself an artist. When you know you're an artist, you're like, I just need to be really good at my art. How do you keep your focus always static on like, this is what I want and I'm gonna get it?
I don't know. I've always been like this. If I want something, I do whatever it takes to get it.
Yeah.
And anything is not that thing is a distraction. You know, if I want to do bad,
that is not that thing is a distraction.
Yes.
Work. We're going to write it down on your Hall of Fame. Yes, please, God. Yeah.
So I usually I want to do it. You see, I quit my job for ALX because at that time my job was the distraction. So I picked this because this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So distractions are not necessarily bad things. They can just be things that inhibit you reaching your fullest capacity, your greatest potential, who you truly are. And you have to be willing to make the worthy sacrifices. I know this is a story, but I feel like even for our listeners, it's so important for them to pick out the deeper message that's coming from your story of like, if you really want to make it out, and you want to make it out not just in ALX, but generally in life, if you want to stand out, you have to really know what you want. You have to be able to discern when what you're going through or what you're doing is not aligned with the goal, and to never be afraid to, because I feel like that broke your own heart. Like, you having to go back 3 months must have broken your own heart, to break your own self to reach the goal.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is too important, not your pride, not your time, but you have to be willing to give everything if it's worth it. And thank you you've blessed us. Yeah. So about the portfolio project, so why this is called the portfolio project interview is because highlight an interview is because most learners are always daunted by this portfolio project phase of their SE journey. And I'm curious, how did you first of all figure out what you wanted to do? How did you zero down on it? Because not everyone that doesn't do so well does because they weren't good enough. Sometimes it's just they didn't know the best way to bring out their abilities and skills. Just tell us yours. You may not have the hack for everyone's, but what was yours?
Okay. So for the project, I started way early. I was like, this is backend, this is new for me, and I need a good project. So
yeah,
I started way like 6 weeks earlier, and then I had my first. Before I did this, the one that I presented, I did another one. So I started too early just to have some tries there. So I did one project, but I didn't finish it. Midway, I was like, why will this stand out? What will make this stand out? So I was writing a program for questions, like for fun questions, like a trivia. But then I was like, midway, I'm like, what will make this stand out? Like, I don't know. I didn't see that in that project. So I started another one. So by the time I was starting one, now it was the real time to do our project.
Oh, so you had like tested out your other options, seen whether you'd like it, and now, wow, that's deep.
Actually too, I did the one for the quizzes, and I tried out another one, which was a hospital booking system. Like, you can book your appointment, you can check your appointment. I also felt that wouldn't stand out. So now, by the time I tried those two, the project hadn't officially started. So when it officially started, that's when I started now this project that I presented.
Okay.
Yeah,
please go on. You're probably gonna answer my question eventually. Yeah.
Okay. So how I came to decide this project, right? That was your question. Okay, so from January, I've been studying cloud. I did one certification on AWS, and so this time I was like, what if I did a project? Most people are building apps for their project. So what next after you build your app? Like, I have my e-commerce, or I have my booking system, or I have my API. So what next after that? So how will my users get this app? How will it be available to my users? How will it be secure? How will it be able to handle large traffics or smaller traffics without me having to use a lot of money, or the company having to use a lot of money? So my biggest answer was the cloud, and my project was mainly how to build this app, package it, and move it to the cloud and have it running in the cloud. Yes.
Okay, and that was a very, very impressive project, because you sort of had the vision of like, everyone is making these apps, but I need to solve the problem they're going to face after making the apps. How will it work in the outside world then? And I think that was really impressive. That gave it a lot of perspective. Would you want to share with us the inspiration, or that like the inspiration was actually always right there? Like you always knew that there's always that problem someone has to figure out. Let me be the one to figure it out.
Yeah, I wanted to like put the bigger picture in a box because that's the bigger
Okay.
picture. I've
Yeah.
always been fascinated about architectures, like how things run. You know,
Mm.
yeah, since I joined the cloud, I found that there's you can draw architectures. You know, I'm an artist. When I hear drawing, I just want to draw. So you can first draw architectures and then you can implement them. So
Yeah.
actually, my project I drew architectures from the ground to the cloud. I drew both of them, and I loved doing it because I loved drawing and I
Yeah.
loved seeing them come to life. Like painting a picture and then seeing it come to life. I didn't have that when I was painting. So now I can draw an architecture and have it running, which is
Yeah.
it's coming to life.
Okay. I might by any chance understand that feeling. I'm a painter in my free time. And yes, it's very fulfilling. It must be very, very fulfilling to get to that point, genuinely. And I'm really glad because you did a very clean project. Your mentor really liked it, and you're bound to go really far with what you did. And what advice would you give to a student, a learner who is sort of trying to figure out this phase of their SE journey? What are the key things that may keep them on track, or that may help them to prosper, or to see it to the end without giving up, or feeling overwhelmed?
Okay. First is to believe in yourself. I did this project by myself, and it's because I believed I could do it. And actually, half of the technology I used was new, so I had to learn it and implement it. So I really, really had to believe in myself to make that happen.
Yeah.
So I never doubted myself. And then another thing, you need to be dedicated. So there's no way you'll like work on a project 2 hours a day and then you're lazing on it and then expect it to be really nice. You really need to be dedicated. You need to put in the time. You need to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And yeah, those two things, just believe in yourself. And oh yeah, and also don't be afraid of any challenge. I really, really had a lot of challenge, big challenges, and I made it through. I wasn't afraid of the challenge. Any ALX student who has finished will tell you about this because every day in ALX you're facing challenges every day.
Doing
You're
hard
debugging, doing tasks. Yeah. So I think we by the time you finishing ALX, challenges are not something you can be afraid of.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of challenges, be dedicated, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Believe you can do this.
Believe you
Yes.
can do this. All right, Effie,
Yeah.
you really like enlightened us, and I hope you really go far with your project. It's a very outstanding project, and the world isn't ready for you. It really isn't. Congratulations on your graduation, which is today. I'm glad to have interviewed you on this really big day of your life. Now I'm curious, what do you, now that you have the skills, do you want to go back to your former graphic design job? What does the future look like for you? What's your dream now? Has ALX expanded your vision by any chance?
Yes, and I do not think I'll be going back to graphic design. I mean, today I'm a software engineer certified.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm also doing my AWS certification. I'm doing my second one soon. So I'll become a backend developer / a cloud solutions architect, which is my two new titles after artist. Yes.
Okay, so the cloud solutions architect would sort of like replace what you were doing in graphic design because it still satisfies your artistry desires.
Yeah, they do. The whole point of being an artist is being creative, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I can be creative in this industry is coming up with solutions. You need to be creative to come up with solutions, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I'll still be an artist. Yeah, I'll draw my architectures and I'll come up with the best solutions the world would need right now.
Wow,
yeah.
wow. And if I may probe further, what are some of the problems in the world that you feel like this is something I have to do? I can't do it and I'll work on it after, as soon as I've attained all the knowledge that I need. This is my big dream project. This is one problem I must solve.
One of the biggest problems I want to solve. I have a lot. Let me see which one is the best.
Okay, it doesn't have to be so, but it can be your dream, you know.
My dream, I really want to get into AI. So I would like a country. Okay, so first I would want young kids to learn coding as early as possible, and I would find a way to solve it. I would find a solution to have these kids, because I'm imagining, what if I had started way back? How far would I be right now? So what if we can have this younger generation start early, and within a few years they'll be like really far. You know, young kids learn faster, they get things really fast, and they innovate fast, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how can we solve this? How can we bring this to the schools? Let them learn cloud as early as possible. Let them learn how to code as early as possible. Of course, there's those that won't maybe proceed with it, but the ones who will are going to be really, really exceptional. And I love it when things are exceptional.
Yeah, because you're exceptional too. And we can see that you're really, really going far. So children will learn coding as early as possible. That's very interesting, because anyway, there was a point physics or biology wasn't a thing we learned in high school. It was just to the grades, and now we have it. So you could actually revolutionize education through coding and making it, you know, palatable to a child's mind to understand. And that's really good, because I've always thought software engineering and this entire tech world is a world that enables people to dream, to imagine anything as possible. And if you can equip a child with the skills that liberate them to be more creative, then I think you raise a generation of, you know, problem solvers more than limited thinkers, which, my God, yeah, you should do this. You will change the world. Because I've always realized that the tech world is always growing. It's the only place, I think, where you're allowed to be weird, to be creative, to just think of anything and make it possible. So if you just equip a child with those tools, then they won't always say that's not possible. They'll always be like, how can I make it work? So yeah, I like your dream. I really like your dream. And you should do it. You should do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Effie. Do you have something else to say? Final words, you know.
Final words. Maybe we can. There's this time I was trying to learn machine learning using. There's this program in AWS called Deep Racer, and there's a concept called reinforcement learning. So this is when algorithms, every time they run, they learn, and they implement what they've learned, and the next time they run, they are better. So maybe we could be like these algorithms. So every time you do something, you learn from it and improve from whatever you've learned, and that's how you become exceptional. That's how these algorithms are really, really nice. That's how people are getting caught up in algorithms, because they learn every time. TikTok, you're so hooked on TikTok because this algorithm has learned you. So every time it learns you, and it uses what it has learned to improve and be better. So maybe we can be like these algorithms. Yes. Keep learning, keep getting better. We keep saying machines are better. It's because they're learning all the time.
That's the difference.
Should be the same, yeah.
Okay.
Learn, and
that's powerful. So thank you for joining me in this interview, and thank you for our listeners for being a part of this journey with us. Effie, we wish you all the best, and there's a bright future ahead of you. And thank you for joining us. Have a lovely day. And to our viewers, remember to subscribe, like, and refer this to a friend who needs to listen to this. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Terry. Bye.
Bye-bye.